So I've been playing a ROM hack called Radical Red recently. It's a very good game. And, well, I beat it. And I beat it using the squad. The Mono Rock squad. And it was actually a very interesting run. So I kind of just wanted to go into detail about it. Because there's a lot of stuff, like very specific battles, which were very tough. And I think it's just interesting to look at. Because these hacks are pretty nuts. I mean, let's look at some of these encounters. Gym 3 are dealing with Alolan Raichu in terrain with Grass Knot, with Mega Manetric. Gym 4 you're dealing with Terrain Extender Surge Rillaboom, with SD and Triage Meganium. And then, I don't even want to show it, but Bruno always has a goddamn Zacian crowned! Anyway. Those aren't important. Let's just get into it. So, at the start of a game, you still have to pick a Kanto starter. So I picked Charmander. This was mainly so the game would be harder, so then my rival would always have Squirtle. Because the game's updated to pretty much modern day, I think it's up to Isle of Armor. The Squirtle line has Shell Smash, so they use it throughout the game, especially tough once it gets Megastonimed a little strong. But either way, I just wanted more challenge because, Mono Rock would be too easy otherwise. So, yeah. First rival battle, level 5 of Squirtle, no reason to go over that. The Brendan battle in Viridian Forest, I had just Rockruff at the time. Rockruff was the only available rock type. It was okay! The Rockruff eventually becoming a Lycanroc. I just Rock Tombed through these. It was definitely a little annoying. But Rockruff was pretty over-leveled. There are soft level caps in the game, and Rockruff was level 15, which is, I think, the cap for that area. So it was pretty, straightforward to just be able to break through him. Then was this next, this rival battle. I believe this is the one, I forget where it is, but this one wasn't too bad either. Either way, then you get to, obviously, Brock's Gym. Now, Brock's Gym was interesting, because, I'm just gonna say it, I kinda broke the rules. I tried with Rockruff for a while, and I definitely considered getting an entire party of Rockruffs. But the crux of the entire battle was the fact that Onix outsped Rockruff at that level, because obviously it would. Onix is a very fast mon, all things considered. Rockruff just can't catch up. And I was not willing to EV train to outspeed an Onix, and Bulldoze was just killing me. So I did break the rules. I used the most honorable rock type of rule, Shroomish. This was literally just for the Brock battle. I just grinded it up using Rockruff. The only time I ever hit the field was against Brock. You could call it, cheating. I would agree. I just don't think it was ever possible even with 6 Rockruff. That is kind of the issue when you get very few options early on, is that you can't really strategize around battles like this. Actually, I forgot. Before this battle, you have to fight Fultner. So these died to Rock Tomb. You get it at level 15, so I had to grind up to it, but these just all died. But yeah, Shroomish had to deal with this. I was sad about it, but Shroomish immediately went on the bench, because I was able to get another rock type after this. Well, actually, I was able to get several. I was able to get, among others, Bowser the Dreadnought, because Dreadnought evolves at 20, I think. As well as, I believe, Jam, the Roly-Poly, Dud, the Alolan Geodude, and I think that was it. Yeah, I think so. Oh no, I also caught Bulls at this point as well. But either way, you can kind of see, weak to water, 4 times weak to water, pretty weak to water. Dreadnought was my only water neutrality at this point, and I was heading into Cerulean. So it was definitely a little annoying. This rival fight was pretty straightforward. Rockruff was pretty strong at this point, so it was just able to just kill things essentially, along with the rest of the Rock Parade. Nothing more was really in Mount Moon. You know, there's a fossil fight, that's never really much. I did pick the Helix fossil, because why wouldn't I? It actually does come in clutch later, and I'm glad I picked it. I believe you can get Kabuto either way, but Kabuto wasn't actually ever needed. So we get to the Cerulean City gym with Misty. Now this battle is bloody difficult. I mean, look at this. You've got this Frogadier over here, Protean Expert Belt, Naughty with 128, 128, 252, with Ice Punch, Tomb, Flip Turn, Grass Knot. This was definitely a very annoying one. And my only real solace was the fact that at the time, I believe it was probably, Dud evolved into a Graveler at this point, so I was always able to click self-destruct, because Frogadier would click Grass Knot, so I couldn't click Thunder Punch because it would resist it. So I was always able to explode on either Frogadier or whatever else came in if it clicked Flip Turn, which is kind of a saving grace of this battle, because afterwards Dreadnought was pretty high level. It struggled, but with the fact that half of Floatzel's moveset is just normal type, and the fact that Dreadnought has pretty good stats for that stage of the game, decent HP, decent defense, alright speed F, we were able to eventually just muscle through it. I remember it was very good because Dreadnought, I believe, had Jaw Lock at the time, its signature move, which is an 80 base power, 100 accurate move. Exact same thing as Crunch, to a T, but it prevents switching, but both for user and target, which is very cool. It's never used because Crunch is generally just much more applicable, but it did come in clutch here because I was able to get it. So then I was able to beat down on Starmie. This was definitely a battle I was very scared of beforehand, and it did take quite a few attempts, but it was surprisingly easy after, the few attempts I did. Just learning the patterns, just learning the AI, essentially. So that is kind of what it came down to. Also, every mon on my team has Rock Tomb at this point, so any mon that I might be sacking, for instance, with Sturdy, I'll usually click Rock Tomb, just because being able to outspeed some mons like Starmie, like Floatzel, is very nice. Either way, after Cerulean, I forget if there's anything. Oh yeah, it was the Archer battle in Mount Moon, but that didn't matter. Is there a rival battle? Yeah, there is, because you can go right to Diglett Cave once you get to Vermilion, which I think I did. This battle was pretty rough, honestly, just because of Grovyle, Corphish. Octojet was definitely scary, but luckily I had Dreadnought. Grovyle was also equally scary, but I had Jam, which I think was a Carcol at this point, and I think Bulls was still a Slugma, but I was able to do decently. Honestly, the hardest mon in this battle to deal with was Lunatone, which is really funny, but I didn't want to get much chip on Dreadnought, so it was really rough to put it in the position with Corphish and Lunatone getting chip on it. Because just something to say about Ragdoll Red as a whole. It's a hack that prevents the use of items during major trainer battles, which is essentially every single battle that I'm going to be going over here, because there was no other battle of note. But that meant that you can't cheese it with items like X items or healing, which meant that, if a mon gets chip, it's chipped for the rest of the battle, as long as I don't have any recovery moves, which, rock moves, rock types, they don't get much recovery. Aero is the only mon with Roost that I ever picked up. Recover-wise, it's exclusive to Cradilly, and your boy Magcargo, absolute legend, by the way, can we just say. And, I mean, there is no other, recovery of note that I ever used. Either way, though, this wasn't too bad, just a couple attempts. And then we get to Surge. Now, I was very adamant about not going back to get another Geodude, so I had to just fight Surge with, at the time, was essentially just Dud, which was a Graveler with, I believe it was Bulldoze, Rock, Blast, Self-Destruct, and like some other move, probably Tomb. So it was definitely a little rough, because you just had Pincurchin. So it was a little annoying, but it was actually pretty easy. At this point, I also had a Lichen Rock. I chose to go for Lichen Rock Dust because it was kind of just the best, and I got Thrash on it, I believe. Did I have Thrash at this point? Huh. I know I got it by level up. Hmm. Huh. Is it Gen 7? Oh, wait. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Gen 7 moveset. It learns on evolving. And Thrash was just really good in this battle for just hitting everything neutrally extremely hard. I was able to, I believe, outspeed Raichu outside of terrain, which just meant I had to stall it out, essentially. Pincurchin was definitely annoying with Scald, but nothing that was too tough to handle. I don't know if I had access to fossils yet. I think I did. No, I didn't yet. No. Because you get fossils in Celadon, and Celadon's right after this. So, yeah. It was essentially just Lichen Rock and Dud for this battle. Then, I believe it's, oh, yeah, Bugsy, I mean, I'm a rock type, this wasn't tough at all. Whitney was a pretty damn tough battle. I came back eventually, because obviously Lichen Rock doesn't really get fighting coverage outside of the CC, like TM usually. But because CC is relegated for the very end of a game in Radical Red, it meant that it was very rough to actually fight this first time round. I believe in the end, Magcargo got, like, something happened. I think, like, I made the Miltank click Ice Punch? I might have come back later. Either way, I did beat that battle, but I just can't remember how, and it wasn't really too noteworthy because of it. Then you get to Lavender Town, and you do a lot of the Pokemon Tower, Erica, all this stuff. Erica herself was a very strong battle. First of all, it's grass, which is already a bad sign. Second of all, SD, 3 attack, Rillaboom with high horsepower. Another not good sign. Modest Triage Meganium with Giga Drain, and Strength Sap. This was definitely near impossible. Oh, also Max Speed Timid Superior. Now that is actually of note, because the mon I had to get to actually beat that was Dart, the Aero. So I had to go get Dart, which is naturally faster than Superior, let's not forget. Aero's hitting 130, Serp's hitting 112? 13. So you would expect, if the Aerodactyl was a higher level, it would be faster if it's a Jolly Aerodactyl, which is what I had, but it wasn't. So I had to go EV train Aerodactyl until it was able to outspeed Superior. Luckily at this point I actually got Diglett Cave, and was probably the best place to EV train, but still, it was insane how much I was actually expected to do for this, because there was just no other way. Rillaboom autoed everything else. I had to turn 1 explode with what was a Alolan Golem at that point, because how it works in Radical Red, there's an item called Link Cable that lets you use it on trade evolutions to evolve them, and you get that in Celadon, where Erica's gym is. So, turn 1, Golem had to explode, and then the Superior comes out, and I have to have my Aerodactyl in, and I have to dual Wing Beat, and because I am above the terrain... No, I'm forgetting something here. There's something, yeah, what am I forgetting? I feel dumb. Oh, I think I remember now. I think Jam, which was a Colossal, was able to live Leaf Storm. So Jam would get chipped with Heat Crash, and then Aero would come in, click Dual Wing Beat, which did come in clutch because, you know, if I wasn't able to get the Jam chip, it's Sash Serp. And then from there, Aero, along with, I think I went to get Cradilly, because you get it in Celadon. That, alongside Aero, was just able to beat down the rest of the gym. This was a really annoying one, just because of having to get Dual Wing Beat, which luckily they have as a pretty early TM. Because otherwise, this battle would have been nigh impossible, if not just straight up impossible. Because otherwise, every other, like, look at this, High Horsepower Rock type super effectively, Drain Punch Rock type super effectively, Drowsy Glide Rock type super effectively. Like, what was I? It was so rough. Because Cradilly is getting Drain Punched. Aero is getting, well, actually, Aero is the only mon that should take every hit neutrally. But, you know, like, Cradilly's getting hit by the Drain Punch, stuff like, Jam is getting hit by High Horsepower, everything else is getting glided on. Wasn't fun. But it was eventually beatable. And after this, I chose to go get the other mon that would save the run completely, which was Tyranitar. In Celadon, instead of having pseudos be random encounters in the game, they chose to have them all be Celadon Game Corner gift Pokemon. So I went through the Rocket Hideout in the Game Corner. I went to this battle. This was definitely pretty tough, not as tough as what comes up afterwards. But it was pretty tough. I believe Aero just did a lot. That's kind of just the story from this point on. Aero did a lot. Because Aero, along with Jam at this point, Bulls, Dud, and Bowser and OK were kind of my permanent party at this stage. That obviously changed, but at this point it was kind of, okay, Light and Rock can do a lot to this, you know, Aero does a lot to this, you know, against Kangaskhan I think I had to go for a Flame Body Burn, but after that it really did zero to me. Rhyperior I think was definitely the scariest here, just because Drill Run, Rock Slide, Ice Punch, Fire Punch was scary, but I had Terracotta at the time, like Cradilly, which they up to Oko with Giga Drain, which was good. So Giovanni at the Game Corner wasn't bad, and then I got Tita. So after you do a Game Corner stuff, you go to Pokemon Tower? Yeah. You go to Pokemon Tower. I believe there's a rival at Pokemon... No, there's a rival in Silphco. So you go to Pokemon Tower, go up it, you realize you need to go back to Silphco. So you go to Silphco. And then you have this tag battle with, against these two admins, and you have Brand on your side. They have Major Sceptile super good, and they have Exploit Punk Rock. So this battle wasn't too bad, but it did take quite a few attempts. As you might expect from a doubles battle, I obviously brought Tita. At this point I had the Aerodactylite, so I was Mega Aero. So I was Tita Mega Aero, and I believe I also brought Jam to this battle, just because I needed a mon to check Mega Mawile. You never want to be talking about checking Mega Mawile when you have 4 gym badges. But either way, it was a little annoying. They would always lead Incin Grimmsnarl, so I would lead usually Tita, get intimidated, which would be annoying, but just start clicking Rock Slide essentially. Just keep on battering them, go to Aero, start clicking Rock Slide as well, click EQ if either Houndoom or Mawile on the field, you know, and then if Mawile is ever on the field, as well as Houndoom, and, you know, I can switch in Jam, I would. It did take quite a few tries, just because I wasn't able to control both members, but eventually it worked out. It was definitely annoying to have to face Aegislash here as well as Mawile. Steel types are definitely the worst part of this run, I feel. Just because, like, let's have a look at, you know, Rock Fire types. And it's kind of not the best. Kind of, Colossal did me proud. Colossal beat down on Steel types as well as it could, but it's still just Colossal. It needed some support sometimes. Now let's have a look at another one of Steel's weaknesses, which is Rock Ground, which kind of left me with going for Rhyperia or just not going for anything at all. Which I chose to just go for nothing at all. Which I didn't really regret, because a lot of the latest Steel types were kind of taken down by a Lowland Golem more than they probably would have been a normal Golem. Which is funny to think about, but yeah. And then Rock Fighting, well, Rock Fighting's Terrakion, which I did catch at some point. I did get Robert. Robert came to the final 6, just because Steel types are just really rough. Then, here is probably the hardest battle in the game. Kind of, for Mono Rock, there's one battle that could be harder, but this is honestly, far and away, probably the hardest battle. Silphco Giovanni, aka Giovanni 2. Oh, wait, this gives you the Mega Ring, oh. Oh, then I was just doing this with normal arrow, then I was just clicking Rock Slide. Okay, I'm an idiot. Either way. Giovanni leads Hippo, and he has an extra drill. Now, well, you know what the second worst type for rock types is? That's right, it's other ground types. Wow. You know what ground types are really tough? Ones that outspeed every rock type in the game in Sand. So I needed to have a plan for this battle. A full-on plan. This was definitely, probably the coolest battle I think I ever had in this run. Because I had the plan of changing weather. It was never happening. Like, it would never work. Smooth Rock lasted 8 turns. Drill could just come in no matter what I did against Hippowdon and just kill me. So, the plan was simple. You see, Rain Dance is probably the best option Rock has when not in Sandstorm themselves. And that's mainly because a lot of Swift Swim Mons are Rock Ground. Not Rock Ground, Rock Water. As you can see here, there's a lot of fossils that are just Swift Swim. And more specifically, there's something called Omastar. Now in the hack, Omastar has Diamond Storm, which they made a special move with the same effect as it has, usually, on Diancie. So, that was very nice. But I was using Omastar for a little while, good old Crimbles. So my plan for this battle was get Omastar in Rain with a Shell Smash up, and then kill Garchomp. Because Garchomp outsped Omastar in Rain, and unless I wanted to go EV train it, it always was going to. Which I was not willing to do, pretty much. So about Rain Dance, because I kind of went on a tangent about Crimbles. Let's have a look at types. You can't sort it by types. Okay, oops. This is that's by TM. But by level up, as we scroll up, you see Caratoaster, and that is it. Caratoaster is the only rock type that learns Rain Dance by level up. The Rain Dance TM itself was further along in the game than the Silphco fight, so I had to train up a Caratoaster to level 41 to get Rain Dance. So then, that wasn't all, because that did not win the battle, because I had to then set up a Shell Smash on Crimbles. Now the thing is, the AI in this game is interesting. Very interesting. They set rocks as a high priority. So, if rocks are up, they'll never click it, obviously. But if rocks aren't up, even if there's a better play for them to make, they will always click it. So, in this battle, I brought default Aerodactyl, along with my level up Rain Dance Terror Toaster, and Shell Smash, Diamond Storm, Hydro, Ice Beam, Omastar. So the plan was, turn 1, I would lead, I would lead... Yeah, turn 1 I would lead Terror Toaster, and I would click Rain Dance as Hippo clicked, Rocks. Then turn 2, I would click Flip Turn as Hippo clicks EQ. Now, there was a time when Terror Toaster was slower in these attempts, so I would be taking the EQ on the Terror Toaster and then flip turning out. But eventually, what happened was Terror Toaster started becoming faster, so I had to adapt the strategy to involve Terror Toaster being faster, and then getting Aerodactyl in. Because Hippo would always click EQ, so I would be able to get Aero in for just completely freely. So then Aero was in. Now there's about 3 turns of rain left, and then I click Defog. Now Hippo clicks Rock Slide, which kills Aerodactyl, which was good for me. Usually that's not good, but this was actually vital, because it meant now that rocks are down, the Hippowdon is in, and Omastar is in. Now because rocks are down, Hippo always clicks Stealth Rocks, so then Omastar is able to click Shell Smash in front of it. So from there, I'm able to click Hydro, Auto the Hippo, and then Garchomp comes in, and then because it is even because it's Yachi, oh no, I'm remembering it wrong because it's been a while. Let's write it down. So turn 1 is rain, turn 2 is flip, turn 3 is defog, turn 4 was smash. Now I remember now. Because I wouldn't be able to keep rain up for long enough, I shell smashed twice. Because I saw that when I did shell smash before, when I was trying to do other attempts, Omastar actually lived an EQ. So I just shell smashed again. I wasn't sash because Fake Out on the Kangaskhan existed. So I think I was at the time like Wise Loss or something. So I shell smashed again. Which very importantly for smashing again, it meant that my +4 Ice Beam killed the Garchomp. And then the rest of the battle was a sweep. So I mean, I can say the rest of the battle was a sweep. There was a lot of prep that went into this battle. First of all, I needed Rain Dance on specifically Carracosta, because it's the only one that actually learnt it for my team. Which is already pretty cool. Then afterwards, I needed to flip turn out into Aerodactyl to defog. Which, like, you'd never think about doing that in a normal, like, playthrough. But it was, like, had to be done to abuse the AI. Because I remember at the time I was experimenting with Taunt on Aero. And then Blitz suggested, oh, defog the rocks away. And that was kinda... it worked. And it was really cool. And then I was able to shell smash twice. And then that was the battle. And honestly, that was just one of the battles I was really happy with. Because it just made me feel smart, you know? Like, rocks usually can't beat ground types, especially when they're the 3 best ground types in the game. Poltergeist was never really an issue, but then there was also Mega Kangaskhan as well. But Crimbles was able to get it done, and this was by far my favourite battle in the run, as well as probably the most difficult for mono rock at that stage. After Silphco, you just go straight to fighting Sabrina. This battle was really easy. You go straight from fighting this huge, difficult ground-type trainer, you know, near unbeatable, then he gives you the Mega Ring. So then I'm Mega Aerodactyl and Titar I Iron Tail Hat turn 1, Hat dies. I crunch in DD and DD dies. The Expanding Force doesn't kill Aero because I'm off the ground, and it does nothing to T-Tar because T-Tar's a beast, and is also a Dark type. Then Marowak Tonk come in. Then I Dual Wind Beat the Tonk, as I believe it Mach Punches T-Tar, and then I think it's P2 Marowak. Then I think I just dual Rock Slide with Aero and I think Light and Rock? Probably. Which then just kills the Marowak, and I think P2 gets Trick Room at this point. So then Gardevoir clicks something to kill Aerodactyl, but it doesn't kill, like, the rest of my team, essentially. You know, after Aero and T-Tar go down, I still have Dud, which I think just explodes. Honestly, I think exploding, and then just Light and Rock, and I think I had Terracotta in this battle. Like, this was not a tough one at all. T-Tar Aero kind of just beat half of the team instantly, and just got chip on the rest. So then after Sabrina, what's next? Yeah, because you beat Celadon. And then you can go... Oh, I should have probably mentioned the Morty battle. Light and Rock plus T-Tar, pretty much, as well as Aero. Dual Wing beat the Mimikyu. T-Tar versus Chandelure, I wonder what happens. T-Tar vs Drifloon, I wonder what happens. T-Tar vs Gengar, I wonder what happens. You know, T-Tar's great. I love him. You also have the Fighting Dojo in Saffron, which you'd think would be pretty rough, but Mega Aero Oto'd all of them. At this point, the Mon was kinda ridiculous. I changed it to Adamant at some point, because the game lets you change natures, and it was just hitting incredibly hard against pretty much everything, and it was great. Either way, you get to now go to fight Koga in whatever town he's in. Fuchsia. Yeah, that's the one. There's also a rival battle in, I believe, Fuchsia... Sorry, Zone, yeah. This was definitely a little rough. I'll talk about this one before I talk about Koga, because Koga's another funny one. He always leaves Metagross, which is pretty strong. It's Balloon, so you can't EQ it. Usually... I forgot what I did for Metagross. I think... Yeah, no, T-Tar always lived a hit, so T-Tar crunched it for like 80, and then something else just came in and killed it. Because then from there, I would... On Crawdaunt coming in, it would click Aqua Jet, so then I could go Cradilly, and then Cradilly was able to click buttons for free, and then Cradilly just kind of beat the rest of the team. Just because when it's choice band in, sometimes Brendan wouldn't switch, so I was able to just click a status move and just get like up to +5, +6, and I resist all of what X-Cloud does. I don't take too much damage from Gardevoir. Sceptile definitely hurt a lot, and that's usually where like the spree ended, and then Aero would just finish the match, because Sceptile Metachamp just died to Dual Wing Beat. But still, this wasn't too bad, despite having a very solid Steel type on his team. So then we get to Koga. So Koga, as a Poison type gym leader, has 2 Poison types, 2 Dark types, Dragapult, Accelgor, and Swellow. So, you know, a normal team, you'll start to notice there's quite a few Dragapults as we get down through things, because Dragapult's a funny mon, but this game generally favors some kind of weird Dragapult sets, which I'm glad that they didn't use anything like Sub-X, because that would be really annoying. So Swellow, I remember this battle. Oh, this was a good battle. So the obvious problems here is Life Orb, Battle Bond, Greninja. Obviously, it's not always going to be Battle Bonded, but, you know, once it is, I lose. I did have an Ashgren check, technically, which was my Cradilly, It always lived at least an Ice Beam, and then just did a huge amount back with Data Drain. But, yeah. The plan was, turn 1 I would click Tita, and Swellow would click Boom Burst. I would switch into... I would switch into Aero on the Boom Burst, and it would do about 40, because I'm in Sand and it's a resisted hit, even from Specs Aero Late Swellow. Then, I Mega Aero, so I DD, as Gren comes in, because it hard switches, because it knows that it's going to die this turn, and it wants to prevent that. So I'm able to get a DD up, and from there, I live a 3-hit Water Shuriken, because I'm in Sand. So I'm able to take a 3-hit Water Shuriken. I died to 4 or 5, but I was just banking on him not getting 4 or 5, which took a couple attempts, but it was fine. And from there, I mean, you can already see a +1 Mega Aero just wins, There's not much else to say. I'm outspeeding Scarf Drapion, I'm outspeeding Dragapult, outspeeding Iseldor, OTOing all of them. This wasn't rough battle at all. Tita Aero did just clean it up instantly. I think after this is the May fight in Cinnabar. This was definitely a little bit of a scary one initially. Once again, you can see her team is pretty weak to Aero. The Solrock was definitely a little annoying, but I just made it explode. I think that was kind of it. Like, Flydon was definitely the scariest mon on this team. Just because, Edgequake resist. I think I just exploded on it with Dud. God damn. Praise be Dud. It was such a absolute legend all throughout the run. Any mon on any team that was just, oh no, this is scary, I was just able to explode on it. And the same thing with Flydon, I just exploded on it and it was fine. Now, you might notice that, there's some, Johto gym leaders I've not been talking about. So Price is at Seafoam, and I fought Price. Price isn't bad at all. I mean, I'm Mono Rock for Christ's sake, what do you think's gonna happen? I remember the team I eventually beat was the Vanillux team. I kind of just OTO'd everything. I led with Tita, so he didn't have Snow Warning up. And from there, there's really not much to it. It's kind of just like, a lot of these weather teams, if they don't have their weather, kind of just don't exist. And this one didn't exist. So Jasmine. So I never beat Jasmine. It's an optional battle, which I'm very happy about, because I would not have wanted to actually ever fight this required, because it's kind of impossible? No. I mean, I can't call it impossible, but it's just... it wasn't right. It just wasn't right. All of these mons are just able to, 6-0 my entire team. And they all resist explosion! Dud couldn't even get in there. The main problem was honestly, in these battles. Because, there's definitely a point where, possibly I could get through it. But just breaking Melmetal was way too tough. My entire team was physical at this point. I don't think I had Earth Power on Omastar. And, yeah, no, I didn't. So that meant that breaking Melmetal physically was huge. It was a huge task. Aero just couldn't really do it. Even Tita couldn't do it. It just took a lot of effort. And luckily, its reward is a choice band. But... But I was able to get a choice band from a raid. Raids are actually in this game, it's really cool. But... either way, it meant that I didn't have to do this. Which... all 3 of these battles I just lost. Just straight up. Honestly, I imagine the Mega Aggron in all 3 probably 6-0'd me. Ugh. Anyway. That's all the Johto leaders done. 6 of them were fine, 1 of them was a Steel type. Luckily, for the audience at home, Jasmine's not the last Steel type trainer, as we'll see in the Elite 4. But, either way. After you fight Blaine, do the Pokemon Mansion stuff, you go to... Is it Cerulean or Claire? Cerulean. Okay. Yeah, you go to Cerulean, you're told that, oh, Giovanni's doing something dumb because he's an idiot. So you head over there, and you have this multi-battle. Not really a multi-battle as much as it's just you have two battles back-to-back, with no healing in between the two rocket admins, Archer and Ariana. This was definitely a... this was a funny match. So, the way I beat this was... So Mamoswine has 4 moves that it can use. Earthquake, Ice Shard, Endeavor, and Icicle Crash. Now, Mamoswine, the AI knows that against Mega Aerodactyl, Mamoswine's EQ is doing 0, Ice Shard isn't killing, Endeavor isn't killing, and Icicle Crash is. And it also knows that it lives any attack that I go for. So, if I DD as he misses Icicle Crash, then, ergo, I can be +1/+1, beat the rest of the team, instantly. I mean, look at the rest of his team. And then just take the Ice Shard the second turn. So that's what I did. I'm essentially fighting 8 months here. I don't care if I'm gimmicking this at this point. But I DD'd on Mamoswine until I finally was able to dodge the crash. And because it's Sash, obviously I have to dual wing beat, then dual wing beat the Disguise, just EQ the Houndoom, and then dual wing beat the Durant. That battle wasn't too bad. Then you get to the Ariana battle. Again, not too difficult here. I Iron-Tailed Hat. EQ'd more while before it just Iron-Headed me. Brought in Jam, clicked Will-O-Wisp, and then clicked Heat Crash. Then Haunch Crow, honestly pretty scary. With Superpower. I sacked Jam here. I think on my final attempt I got a burn, but it wasn't needed. And then I just kind of came in with Omastar because it was burnt, and I just started killing things. Diamond Storm here, and then Water Move on Rhyperia, because even with Solid Rock, it's dying. And that was that battle. That wasn't the worst. It was definitely pretty annoying to basically fight an 8v6, but it really didn't require too much effort after I got that arrow play. Because this Mamoswine was very scary, as you might imagine, for this entire squad of rock types. Either way. Then you have a Giovanni double battle where you have Lance on your side. So Lance has some pretty funny mons, such as Dragapult, Dual Strings Pult, 4 attacked Leftovers Dialga, and Mega Ments with EQ Double Edge Roost. And Giovanni, he has T-Tar Drill, Lele Scrafty, Expanding Force Sam, and Expanding Force Mewtwo Y, with Soul Robbery. Soul Robbery, I think, was... They made Spectral Thief special, and then they gave it to Mewtwo, which was really funny, I think, because it still gets ruled by T-Tar. T-Tar lives in Aura Sphere. So, out of the mons I chose, the 3 I eventually end up with was... Aero... Oh, I'm remembering now. Oh, this battle was actually so good. It was Aero, Omastar, and T-Tar. So the plan was, turn 1, Aero would defog terrain away. So, Lele's Psychic Terrain would be gone. Meanwhile, Lance would just get faked out or something. Lance would just get, attacked by this modest Scrafty? Huh, never noticed. That's probably why it did so little. Either way, yeah, I defog terrain away turn 1, as Lele and Scrafty don't do too much. Then I start DDing. Because Lele's not doing much damage. Scrafty isn't doing too much damage because the ice moves are prioritizing the Pult. Because I'm also setting up behind screens, because Lance is setting up screens. So I set up to like +2 speed. So then I'm able to outspeed Drill. And I eventually kill the Lele, and I believe Drill comes in afterwards. Which is really good for me, because then Drill's outside of Sand. I guess EQ take the Drill out. I believe Scrafty Ice Punches me at this point as well, to take out Aero. And then we're left with T-Tar, Zam, and Mewtwo. And Scrafty against my T-Tar, Omastar, Pult. No, sorry, not Pult at this point. It would be Dialga or Salamence. So, DD Policy Tar was definitely annoying, but when I was using Diamond Storm on Omastar, I was able to just get defense raises while doing a lot of damage to it, while not actually promoting the policy. Lance's Dialga would just go after whatever mob that wasn't T-Tar. So I was able to just get Chip on the T-Tar and just beat down on his mons. And eventually Mewtwo was in. It was time of just Mewtwo, and it was just T-Tar at this point. And then T-Tar just tanks an Aura Sphere like a champ. Probably because, once again, this thing's apparently jolly. But T-Tar like ate it. I don't even think it died to Timid. Which is funny. But either way, T-Tar just eats it up. And then T-Tar just revenge kills it with Crunch. Which is just nice. It's just nice. As you can kind of tell from all of these battles, T-Tar Aero just kind of won everything. But then, you know, Trimbles in the back, Dud in the back, Jam in the cut. The entire squad was working. But either way, Giovanni just like, oh man, I really went crazy this time. And then Mewtwo's like, yo, bro, come back so you can kill me after the Elite Four. So I promise him that I will. But there's 1 or 2 more battles beforehand that are a little rough. Specifically, the Route 22 rival battle. So I chose Charmander, so he has funny Shell Smash Mega Blastoise. Ooh. He also has Scarf Cart. And, some other things. So I was, Stone Edge, Fire Fang, Earthquake for this, rival battle on Aero along with DD. Turn 1, I always lived a Choice Band Intimidate move from Staraptor. So I was able to DD just to get my attack back to neutral, because it would usually just CC. Then I was able to Stone Edge to kill it. I would Fire Fang on the cart, because I'd be faster thanks to the DD. Then I would usually EQ the Dom, probably die at this point. I'd always explode an Electivire, because it's a fighting type in this, with Plasma Fist and Stab CC and Mark Punch. And then afterwards, you'd have Blastoise Hatterene. Blastoise, I would usually... No, I'm remembering this wrong. I would explode him with Blastoise, because it's broken. And I would kill Electivire with just the rest of my team, essentially. Hatterene was never a problem, because T-Tar always 1v1'd it. So, it just came down to beating Electivire. I think Aero probably did a lot to it, and then I probably sent, like, Lycanroc in afterwards to just revenge it. But either way, this rival fight on paper looks really tough, but it wasn't actually that bad, just because a lot of his team is relatively weak to rock. I mean, he has 2 really good resists, but, like, they just got clowned on by the Aerodactyl. Then there's a battle with Brendan, he has Latios, and it's a little annoying. But the actual only problem in this fight was, once again, Troodon Metagross. Metagross, I had a similar encounter here than I did in the Safari Zone. I just crunched it with T-Tar, did a lot. And then just came in with Aero afterwards, with Rocks up. X-Bug comes in, I think Dueling Blade just kills. I crunch Latios. I believe whenever Troodon came in, I would just go Credilli, and just do the similar Credilli kind of cheese to just 1v1 Troodon at this point, because there's no other mon on his team that's weak to grass. Salamence would just get 1v1 by T-Tar, and then Sceptile was probably the scariest, but I was always able to burn it with Jam, And if rocks didn't go up initially, I would explode on it with dud. Then there's this battle. I never actually did this. This doesn't seem too bad. Sage Power is Guerrilla Tactics for special moves on Simisear, by the way. Like, this team doesn't seem like rock types would have too much of an issue. More specifically, I think Arrow would just DD on the Aegislash. Especially if it was in sand, so it would live the flash cannon. Either way, though, that's all the rival fights, until the Elite Four. So then we get to Claire, which I forgot to mention. Yeah, you fight Claire before you go to the Elite Four in that rival fight. Claire's not too bad. Her arrow was always faster than mine, which is really sad. But the way the arrow works is that it will click Taunt if it sees any setup move. So I would just can't remember. I would just click Stone Edge on it because arrow would always taunt me. And then afterwards I would just DD on it as it not DD. I would just kill it as it then sets rocks. The rest of the team, I remember I did DD on it. Because I know DD won this game, but I forget how. What did I do? Oh wait, I remember now. I set up on Naganadel. Yeah, I got a DD on Naganadel because I was in sand with Arrow. I think I led with something else then. I was led with Tita, I imagine. And I would have just, like, Rock Slide crunched. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry for forgetting these things. It's been about, I'd say, a week since I actually played through the game and finished it. I've started it, like, a week before that. So, it's been a while since some of these older battles. But yeah, I DD'd with Arrow, I won. Honestly, that mon is insane. It just hits really hard, just, I mean, 135 attack with stab, dual wing beat. I was running admin at the time just because I was so fast. Get a DD up. You got 600 in both your offensive stats. With reliable contact stab, Stone Edge, EQ, kind of. This was my set, really. This is the only set you needed. Either way, Gym Leaders are done, Rivals are done, Team Rocket's done, Johto Leaders are done, rematches, well, I did the Brock one to get the Aerodactylite, which wasn't too bad. I just out-rocked him because I'm better than him. That was it, though. I didn't try the rest of them because it wasn't really that much of a issue. I didn't need the Gyarados or Protein Froti. I didn't need Main... Actually, no, I did fight the Surge one. I needed Light Clay. So I just went back to fight him, and this wasn't bad either, because I had T-Tar at the time. And T-Tar just beat every mon on his team, pretty much. God, I love rock types after this. They just... Honestly, rock types in sand do not sleep. Either way, though, Pokemon League. The Pokemon League is special. Mainly because, the formats for battles are a bit weird. The first one's a double battle, the second one is a Steel-type trainer, the third one is easy, and the fourth one has a Primal Dialga. And the champion has Blastoise always, but luckily that didn't actually change my plan for Blastoise earlier in the run. So originally, just talking over, like, plans I had, originally I was just going to bring a HO team. I was going to bring Webb's Rock Shuckle, Rock's Veil, Aurora Veil, Snow Warning Auroras, with DD Arrow, DD Tita, SD or Banded Terrakion, because they're able to change sets mid-battle with TMs and items. And then, just Colossal to try to deal with Sashun Ground. Eventually my party came, what you see here, using the ever-godlike Dud, along with the Goon Squad. Donkey Kong, Dot, Jam, Dud, Robert, and Crimbles. So, Battle 1. So I had two options, one of which was fighting a Hail team, the other of which was fighting Primal Kyogre. So T-Tar and Aero Lead was able to auto both Mons, and with some reasonable luck, I was able to dodge the Glaceon Blizzard on Aerodactyl, which is what I needed. Because as long as I dodged the Glaceon Blizzard, which autoed Aero, I was able to just keep on spamming Rock Slide. And that's kind of just what the entire battle came down to. Every single Mon either spammed Rock Slide, or what eventually happened in, like, the winning run. Well, one of several winning runs, really. Trimbles also came in with Diamond Storm, which, if you didn't know, is a spread move. And they programmed it like it is in Gen 6, where it gets 2 boosts if you hit both of them against 2 targets. So Trimbles was able to get to +4 defense, and then Arctivish was able to do nothing, and Abomasnow was able to do nothing. So this, fighting Hail as Sand, it wasn't difficult. So then we get to the actual difficult part. This was the most difficult fight, apart from Giovanni 2, I'd say. So, I was never beating the Urshifu Dark team, so I just reset every time I got it. So eventually I'm fighting this team. Urshifu Rapid, Zacian Crowned, Life Orb, Speed Boost Blaziken, Life Orb, Scizor, Power Herb, Sky Attack, Hawlucha, and Mega Lucario. So this battle required a little bit of raw talent from my team members. So turn 1, I would lead Dud, because Urshifu Rapid does not auto-Dud with Surging Strikes. Which, I mean, put respect on this man's name, he eats it up! And only a Alolan Golem could do that. There was no other water type, like rock type, that would actually be able to do it, and then do what Dud does afterwards. Because after he U-turns, he always U-turns into Blaziken, so I would Wild Charge to kill Blaziken. And then just straight up kill it, and then Blaziken's gone. Or, what he eventually started doing, which is how I eventually won, is he would U-turn into Scizor. So then I teched on Fire Punch to Dud, and I would Fire Punch on the switch, and then Scizor would die. And Scizor was one of the bigger problems for this battle. Because, as you can see, Aero definitely has a chance here. But Aero needs to be in the right position to where it can start dual wing beating stuff without having to worry about priority. So, with Scizor out of the way, Dud would have Urshifu come back in, and it would click Surging Strikes. I would usually sack Dud at this point, just because he didn't need to do anything else, he just needed to take care of Scizor. So then Aero would come in. Now Aero, how the game is deciding it, is it knows that Aero can auto with a Tough Claws dual wing beat. So Urshifu's always clicking Aqua Jet, so I would be able to click DD. And then, because I'm clicking DD, I'd live 2 Aqua Jets, and then I was able to DD once on the jet, and then dual wing beat on the second jet. Now, sometimes, for some reason, Bruno's AI was a bit silly, so it would go Hawlucha and then Blaziken afterwards. So, oh no, that's not, sorry, no, I'm getting this wrong again. What did I do for Urshifu? Because no, I DD'd on the Hawlucha and then did the sweep. Oh yeah, I just revenge killed Urshifu with a Banded Terrakion on CC. It was as simple as that. Then Hawlucha would come in, and I would go to Trimbles to sack it, because then I would be able to dual wing beat the Hawlucha, because it would never click Sky Attack. Then I dual wing beat Blaziken. So then I'm left with Zacian and Lucario, which are 2 very rough boys to deal with. So, how do you deal with 2 Ubers, Steel types no less, as Mono Rock? And the answer is simple. You outplay them. So Jam's ability, as you might know, Colossal's best and coolest ability is Flash Fire. So I did a little bit of resetting here during this route, and I would Flame Body burn them both, because as long as Zacian was clicking Giant Blade, which is Behemoth Blade, um, Jam would live a hit, and once it's burnt, it would then live the CC afterwards and Revenge Kill with Close Combat. Sorry, no, Revenge Kill with Heat Crash even. And then Lucario would come in, and Lucario would also click Close Combat, so I then needed Flame Body to burn the Lucario, for then T-Tar to come in, have its weakness policy procced, and then click EQ on the CC, because it did actually live one, surprisingly. So that's what happened. I used a save state to do it, and I'm fine using a save state there. I did win the battle, legitimately, because that would happen every, 9% of the time. Which, odds of Rock Slide missing, you take those. Then Agrifer was piss easy because both of her teams just lost to T-Tar and Aero. And then Lance. Lance was interesting. So I planned to fight Lance's second team. And that was because of something called Garchomp. Now, that was a... Okay. So remember what I said about Mammoth missing Ice Crash? Lead Arrow would be able to DD on Garchomp as it clicks Stealth Rocks. I needed 4 DDs to Auto Melmetal with Earthquake, so I needed to dodge Stone Edge 3 times, and then Earthquake. Now that is, as you might be able to tell, a 0.8 chance of happening. 0.8% even. So I went for the 0.8%. So I was then able to kill Garchomp, kill Dragapult, kill Dracosult, kill Melmetal, and do 50% to Primal Dialga. Now, Primal Dialga is kind of insane, and it does EQ does 50% to it. A super effective EQ, mind you, and then I get roared out. So then I just keep on spamming attacks against Dialga as it keeps on clicking Roar, and that is because rocks are up on our Garchomp side, and it thinks that clicking Roar is its best plan of attack for some reason. I don't know why, but we take those. So then after the beast dies, once again T-Tar lives a super effective EQ and just kills with Stone Edge. And this leaves us with the champion battle. This is quite possibly the most ridiculous battle that I did. I think there was definitely a more consistent way of doing this battle, but I didn't do that. So what ended up happening was, I think Crook would just taunt, so I would always just click dual wing beat turn one with Arrow. Actually, no, I would DD on rocks and then just dual wing beat the Crook. Dual wing beat the Darkrai, and just EQ a Primal Groudon to do a lot. And usually either, I forget if I kill the Primal Groudon, but if I did, then Ditto came in. So what Ditto did was it turned into a +1/+1 Mega Arrow with Scarf. However, I had an out to that. The out that everyone needs in their lives. Dud. Dud would explode on the Ditto, and not explode, it would Wild Charge on it because it's a flying type at the time. And so I would be able to deal with that because... And I'm forgetting again. No. I would dual wing beat turn 1, which would kill the Crook, and then rocks wouldn't go up, so I could then explode later. I think I probably DD'd on something else. I forget. I know I broke with Arrow. Let me look at the 6. I know that Trimbles very sadly was a sack in this battle. Oh, I remember. I also started clicking CC with Terrakion, and I was Scarf in this battle, so after the Sash and Sandstorm, it killed Darkrai. It did a lot to Primal Groudon with EQ as well, and it did a lot to Blastoise. So eventually the Arrow thing happened, and then Dud killed Arrow. Blastoise died, I think, to just a mixture of the Scarf CC and I think T-Tard lived an Aura Sphere because it was unboosted. So then we're left with a very interesting encounter at the end. Because I remember that what actually ended up happening, because I lied, what ended up happening was I had Jam in against Ditto of itself. Jam's set was, as such, Will-O-Wisp, Tar Shot, Heat Crash, and, something else. Something else? I can't remember. Either way, good old Jam here did not have a way of hitting itself as a Scarf set, so I would 1v1 myself using Tar Shot Heat Crash as the Ditto proceeds to just click Heat Crash on, a 4 times resisted Colossal. So then eventually what happens is the only mon left is Togekiss. Now Togekiss has 4 moves it can click. It's not clicking Defog because it doesn't have hazards on its side of the field. It's not clicking Thunder Wave because it's already faster. It's not clicking Flamethrower because it does minimal damage. It's always clicking Air Slash. Air Slash can miss. I remember my last move, it was Rock Blast, and Ditto didn't seem to like clicking it for whatever reason. So I was a Spadef-ish Colossal. I was sassy, I remember. Either way. I was too low health to actually, take any Air Slashes. I had to get 2 turns of leftovers to then take one. So, I had to hit 3 Rock Blasts in a row, while Togekiss... Well, actually, I had to hit total 10 hits of Rock Blast, while Togekiss had to hit Air Slash once. So I made a save state, and it took several tries, probably over 100. But eventually, the run ended up being that Togekiss missed 3 Air Slashes, Jam hit 3 Rock Blasts, and Monorock made it to the goddamn end of the game. It was super cheesy, super dumb. Honestly, I feel like most of the battles in the game were kind of like that. But that's kind of what you have to do. This ROM hack is definitely designed around using some very strong mons. Mons like Dragapult, mons like, Mega Aerodactyl. I mean, obviously Amani uses it. But, it's designed around using the best of the best. Astra Ninja. Looking at, say, another person who played the game's, Hall of Fame. Similarly cool person. So let's have a look at, Clefable, Astra Ninja, Mega Blaziken, Aegislash, Dragonite, Electivire with Stab, Plasma Fist, CC. A pretty normal team. And then you look at this other team with Torv, Weavile, Mega Mence, or Mega Pedo, or Mega Guard, and Infernape. Very interesting there. Very interesting. I don't think Mono Rock was the hardest run I could have done. I think Mono Ice is probably harder, because Rock is just too good. But I think Mono Ice would border on being just unfun. That's the thing with a lot of runs like this. If the answer is really dumb, I mean, like it kind of was for the Elite Four, but let's ignore that. I had other answers, but my first run in the... what's it now? Yeah, the first run against the champion went the way it did, so I just kind of wanted to win the first run. But, if a run has cool stuff like the Giovanni fight, like the other Giovanni fight... Giovanni's maybe used cool stuff. But if I'm using stuff like Defog in battles just to get around stuff, that's just kind of what I like to see in a challenge run. It's less grinding and more just thinking, and I'm good at thinking. I really enjoyed Radical Red playing through it, and I feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much if I just used these cool broken mons like Adaptability, Mega Sceptile, or whatever. Because that's just not what it's about for me. I just really enjoy having to think about a lot of things in like a game like Pokemon. And that's just what this run provided. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I know this is probably a lot longer than it needed to be, but I just wanted to document this game. I really enjoyed it. I think if you can set up your own GBA emulator, which is not difficult to do at all, by the way, the ROM is openly available. You just need to look it up. And it comes with instructions, of course. Comes with a lot of information as well, stuff like encounter tables, etc. Uses very modern mons. I mean, it doesn't include Crown Tundra stuff, so you don't have stuff like Skullshot Chomp. Thank Christ! But either way, with all that being said, great game, and Mono Rock is probably the most fun I've had playing a main series, like an in-game game, you know what I mean, like, in ages. Just because every single one of these guys, there was something they did. I forgot to mention, but Dwayne and Jelly were in the 8v6. Dwayne was able to use Flamethrower on the Mega more in some runs. Jelly was also there. Jelly didn't do that much in the end. I was not able to get Stack Attacker because I decided to... There's one den which lets you get an Ultra Beast, and I went Nihilado over Stack Attacker. Didn't actually matter in the end. Stew and Wedding never actually came to any battles. I thought I needed them for Elite Four, but I didn't. And Bulls, I hate to say it, so... The thing is, they gave Magcargo Simple, but then they got rid of Shell Smash, and I was sad, and they gave it No Retreat, but No Retreat Magcargo sucks, even if it's getting +2 in every stat. So... yeah, I'm very sad about Bulls. I'm also pretty sad about Stew and Wedding, mainly because I had to train them up. Like, these were level 80 mons, and I had to get Shuckle and Auroras at level 30-ish. But I did it. I had fun. It was a good game, and that's really all I can say. Mono Rock is great. Rock types deserve much more respect than they get. Rock is just a great type overall, and there's some really good rock types you should consider using. T-Tar's always done to be the one people think about, but stuff like Aerodactyl, Mega as well, Diancie, Mega as well, but even base forms, those are cool. Regirock, absolute unit, beast! Terracion's always a really good physical breaker, but I feel like people just don't give it time of day as well. Nihilado, really solid special breaker, as well as really good hazards. Lycanroc, I think everyone likes Lycanroc, that's time just it. There's more to Rock than just Lycanroc. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's all I will say.